Call this meeting of June 10th, 2013 to order. I'd like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me.
Roll call shows all departments and council people are here. Council head, or the department heads. I'd like to review the minutes of May 28th.
I have something. Lisa, on when we were talking about the budget, on page 4, I asked about requiring the DDA that money be a loan. And then that was just kind of a comment, and I really wasn't sure where it was. And then in council comments, I asked about it again. And then David said that he had it marked down that it would go. I just want it in here that it was stated that it was going to be. I don't care where you put it. Just that I just want it marked down that it was going to be. Okay. David had it listed as a loan. Thank you.
Joe?
Great. Also on page 4, where it says, my comments, starting where it says, including the increases of the mills from 2.5 to 3.6 mills in the future for the water plant. Then the next sentence, it says, some increases are unavoidable. And then the next sentence, it says, and we need to scrutinize. At the time during when I was making that statement, I was referring to the wording in the actual budget that was put before us. As it's written, it appears as if this is my opinion that some increases are unavoidable, when that was not what I stated or my intention. So I'm asking that wording to be removed, those 4 words, I'm sorry. Some increases are unavoidable.
Okay, Lisa?
Let me find the page. On page 2, I neglected to put in under the Memorial Day Parade, the vote and motion passed. So I need to add that to the minutes.
Lisa and I had talked earlier about page 3. I was opposed to that vote at the base of the page, not Joe.
I move the minutes as amended.
Support.
Further discussion, I'd like to comment as far as noting who votes no. I don't think that's a proper thing to be doing in our minutes anyways.
I agree. I was going to talk about that at council comments, but yeah.
That's the way I feel. Unless it's a roll call vote, then in that case, it should be listing
exactly
who voted how.
Or at the very least, I think it's something that should have been decided, not imposed on us.
Right. Okay, anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approval of the agenda. Any additions or deletions? Oh, we want to pay some bills? Okay, we'll pay some bills. Questions on that, Harvey?
On page 1, about 2/3 down, or a little less than that, the check number 61119, Swisky Levine Client Trust Account for South Lyon Woods. Anybody tell me what that is?
With the trailer park.
That was the payoff from the lawsuit
Oh,
that we owed them.
are we done with that now then?
Well, Parvin called me today, and we may have to pay some, we tried to give them a credit early on for some of the late fees and things like that. So I've sent some information off to Parvin. He's supposed to review that to see if that was part of the judgment or not. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, could I just address that real quick? That is an MTT case, so it's a tax appeal case related to the South Lyon Woods, or is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was speaking of the,
Is it the lawsuit or the?
I was speaking of the lawsuit.
It's the lawsuit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then And what
Sorry
I
about
said
that.
is correct.
Okay. Anything else in the bills?
Could I just ask that, in the event that, is your objective to get credited for what we had reimbursed early?
No, they wouldn't accept our reimbursement, and that's why they're now coming and asking for it.
Okay.
And that's what Parvin sort of thought we owed it to them, but I wanted to send the documentation so he could look at it and review what we had paid under the judgment and make sure that that's what we actually owe.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mike.
Chief Kennedy, they're on the invoice approval list by fund. There's a windshield replacement. Which vehicle was that?
Those are ladder truck. It got a chip in it, and we had the chip repaired, but it got, personnel were putting their equipment in, and there was a stress fracture we didn't know about, so
Okay.
those aren't cheap,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I was curious about that one myself.
And I think that's my only one. Thank you.
Yeah, don't want to have a letter truck.
Well, I'll make the motion that we approve the bills.
I'll second.
Further discussion?
Just one thing further, if I may.
Harvey.
I was reviewing the revenue report and the expenditure report with 1 month left. Looks like we're going to end up in pretty good shape.
Well, I think we'll squeak by.
And on the revenue report, the very last item on there is a transfer from the cemetery fund. Is that something that we do at the end of the year? We have 109,005 budgeted, and there's been no activity
Right.
through the year. So is there a transfer coming yet?
It usually comes at the end of the year, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Once we know what we've,
I have to look at that, but I did transfer some reimburse for the DPW wages that we charge from the cemetery. I've already done one transfer, I'm not sure it's, I don't have it.
oh. We have the bookkeeper here this evening, so she can tell you exactly.
Harvey, if you look up two lines from the bottom, or third line up.
Revenue report.
Line item 6692009.
Okay.
69,912.
Oh, and nothing budgeted?
Yeah, I adjusted that already, but it doesn't show up until June.
Okay.
It's supposed to be down in that bottom area where it's budgeted.
Overall, though, we're looking pretty good shape.
Yep.
Thank you.
So that goes back and forth between the cemetery perpetual fund, is that what that is?
That is, yes. It was decided a couple of years ago that we would utilize that money to pay for the mowing and the care of that cemetery. That's what Parvin had said, that's what that money was there for, perpetual care, so that we could start utilizing that for, instead of taking it all out of the general fund, which had been done for years before.
Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Just a comment that 142% of building permits revenue is a good sign.
Yes, it is.
Okay, now approval of the agenda. Any additions? or-
I have no additions, sir.
I'll move it as presented.
Well, I actually have something.
Oh,
We got a check for $100, a donation, and I'd like to have us accept that tonight, if you guys would agree to that, gals, for number 4.
then I'll move it as amended.
I'll support. Oh, okay, go ahead, Bill.
All right, now, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. Anybody wish to speak on any item not listed on the agenda?
Hello, George Foreman, 869 Huntington. Just wanted to talk for 30 seconds here. Volunteer Park and Nature Trails had a very nice walk with Michael Lando, the Parks and Rec chairman. We walked the trails that remained and looked at the trails that had been modified by the farming going on in there. We're looking forward to the meeting that is the Parks and Rec meeting on June 12th. Mike did mention that there might be some other groups there also that are interested in the use of volunteer park. So we're looking forward to talking with them to see, you know, what we can do to maintain as much of the natural areas that are available in the park. And the last thing is just on Saturday, June 15th, a lot of the wildflowers are in pretty nice shape in Volunteer Park right now. So we've organized a Volunteer Park a wildflower picture contest and also a treasure hunt contest. So anybody that's interested in stopping by and looking at some of the wildflowers in Volunteer Park, please feel free to join us from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturday, June 15th. If you need any more information, you can go to our website, vpnt.org, or the Facebook page, Volunteer Park Nature Trails. Thank you very much.
8 to 2?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to old business, which we have none. New business. Another festival on the horizon. Brews and brats.
The South Lyon Area Chamber would request to hold the Blues, Brews, and Brats, or in shorthand, B3, saves me a few Bs, on July 20th. As in previous years, there have been just a few tweaks to improve the operations. Kim was good enough to meet with both me and the fire chief in the pre-planning stages. All the paperwork has been submitted very timely and is in order. And I am requesting council's approval for the necessary road closure.
It's very nice seeing everything done in the proper time. It's very helpful.
I know.
And it's a nice organized package, and nobody had to rush because do her any favors or anything. That's the way it should be. It's not like you don't know in a year in advance you're gonna do this.
Kim's very organized.
It's a nice package.
Yeah, well, I'll make the motion, then we approve the requested road closure for the July 2013 Blues, Brews, and Brats.
Are you bringing your
Yeah, I'm
kids?
thinking of the kids, yeah. Brats,
What, no kids allowed? I'll second that. But the brats part.
yeah.
Further discussion?
Three, right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Budget amendments.
These are the last of the budget amendments. I know you would like them in a more timely fashion, and that is our goal.
You might want to get with Kim. She's organized.
I know. Hey, I tried to get her in here, but she wouldn't come. Anyways, for many reasons, they're here now. So these are the last of the budget amendments that we have. And I tried to put an explanation on the left-hand side, but only had so much room.
Yeah, I saw that.
I did the best I could, so I guess I would ask that you approve these, and if you have questions, all of the sheets are in the back for you to fill in your budgets with the changes.
I move the packet of amendments.
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Joe?
Yeah, I just have a couple of quick questions. On the cost of Novi due to permit increase, I was curious, how much did they raise the permits?
Well, they didn't. They take a certain amount of they take 75% of the permit fee. So as permits go up, their cost goes up as well.
We have a lot more
So we
activity.
had more
Understood.
activity.
Revenues, yeah.
And
So
then-
when Glenn said permits are up, that's good.
Yeah,
But also Novi's costs go up.
Gotcha, understood, thank you. And then also, just reading with the DPW, it says Troy's payout, just reminded me, that's, I assume this is for his pension or something?
To sick leave, what else, sick days, vacation. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
So vacation.
So that hasn't, does this have anything to do with our current retirement system with the MERS? Okay,
No,
because
nothing.
that was going to lead me to my next question, is to ask where we're at with that status.
We're meeting with them next
This Wednesday.
This coming
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yes. So we've been trying to stay up with that, and we were trying to get an actuarial person there, but I think they're busy right now doing them, so they're going to be available via phone.
Via phone.
Okay, great, thank you.
Just a quick one, Joe, I took note of that, we're up $21,800, and the revenue generated offset by the cost of the building inspector fees, so, yeah. That's a good trend.
All right,
There's a motion.
is there?
Yeah.
All in
Yeah,
favor,
we'll
okay, all in
second.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3 is of the 4 items, turnout gear and Chief Kennedy.
Keeping it quick, this is just trying to be proactive. I asked Manager Murphy if we had a light meeting to slide this in. So as part of our next year budget, 13-14, we had budgeted for 5 sets of structural turnout gear. Knowing that this was something that we'd be going for, I put together a committee actually late 2012, and this is the main gear that our guys wear. It's kind of their first and last line of defense. So this is something I wanted them to be comfortable with, put together a group. They really went through an exhaustive process, looked at all the current manufacturers. What we had been using for about 6-7 years had been phased out, so we were forced to go out for something new. This is something that we could go out for bid, and it's kind of all over the range. I feel this is a safe set of gear to protect our firefighters that are in harm's way. This isn't the top, this isn't the bottom, this is kind of the midway between the middle and the high-end stuff. So, again, I had a group together. I actually kind of removed myself from the process. It was a captain and 3 firefighters that went through the process. And again, we did demo sets, and I feel they very well vetted the process. There are 2 vendors of this gear in Michigan. However, the vendor Apollo we've worked with for numerous years. They've been a good vendor, and they're our closest rep. The other rep is on the west side of the state. So we could bid with the other vendor, but for sizing or issues, my preference would be for us to stick with the vendor that we know and have a historical good working relationship with. So 2 parts here. One is to, since it's over $5,000, normally there'd be a bid process. One would be to waive the bid process, and the other would be to approve the purchase. And we're about a 75 to 90-day lead time. And so I'd like to literally on July 1 be calling and saying go ahead. So that's why we're coming to you ahead of time.
I did have a comment. I thought it was wonderful that they had evaluated as many different types of outfits as they had, you know, to get a full comprehensive understanding of what's available. I will say that although I don't want to end up having their safety be something that we get on sale, I still would have liked to have had some price points of some of the other stuff, just to be able to comp things. To, as you just stated, if the stuff was really in the middle of those price points, it's kind of a moot issue. But it, you know, it would have been a nice idle reflection of where things were. But I really did appreciate that. I did the fact that they had looked at so many different vendors. One thing that I thought was a little bit unusual was it says on the price quotation, the Lyon V-Force, and I thought it said another company's.
Yeah, Janesville
Yes.
bought out the Lyon
Oh,
brand.
okay,
It's
that's-
kind of like a Ford versus Lincoln sort of thing. So,
okay.
yeah, and there was a pack, and I apologize it wasn't there. There was a 6 or 7 page spec sheet. So they just didn't quote, here's 10 grand in a single page, but that talked about pocket placement and the flame rating, and again, I apologize for not including that, but there was a much more thorough spec sheet that was attached with this quote from the vendor. So.
Well, I had seen Janesville as one of the vendors. That's why I was wondering if there was a mix-up in what we were actually bidding on. So, thank you.
Okay, I have a question. Maybe Mr. Murphy, you can educate me. Going out for a formal bid process, is it possible without going out for a formal bid to call them up and get some sort of a price points with, is that allowed in the rules? I'm just curious, I'm not familiar with the formal bid process, you know, how you send it out and.
But isn't that what you did?
Well, we went to, when I went to the guys, my issue was that since this was a safety issue, I said, come back, let me know let's go with what you guys want and are comfortable with. Kind of not the upper end, not the lower end. What do you guys want? This is $200 above the price point that we had for our previous set of gear. So the previous manufacturer to kind of, I guess, put it in relation to that. If you did want, we could call up other manufacturers. The issue that we run into is this V-Force PBI Max is kind of a proprietary. So it kind of like you go for a Lincoln Town Car, then you go for a Cadillac, then you go for a Lexus. No one's going to be able to quote us exactly that V-Force PBI Max, and so that's really why them doing the interviews with the vendors. We actually had demo sets of gear brought in. You're going to get different bids back, but we won't be able to get other ones to quote this exact finite object. It's going to be kind of their version of that, if you will.
And that answers my question. I apologize, maybe should have phrased my question a little bit better, and what it originally, I'm backing up, is I was curious if there was the second supplier that you mentioned, if they did offer comparable or the same, in fact, would be the right word, the same types of equipment, but it sounds like, as you mentioned, that it's not, so that answers my question. Thank you.
The other vendor in Michigan, we could go through them, but again, we deal with some service delivery issues because they're on the west side of the state. So in talk with the manufacturer, they could quote it, their price points might be a little bit different, but more than likely it'd be pretty much the same. If we were to go with other vendors such as the Spirion or Firedex or Inatex, those are the ones that they're not going to be able to quote that Lyon V-Force gear. And a lot what the committee looked at was the performance, and the cut is a real big issue, and that was one of the main selling points of them for this gear, is as we're crawling or reaching up, they offer what's called an athletic cut with this, and that was one of the big selling points for the guys with this specific Lyon gear. So.
You all set, Joe?
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Chief, you're buying 5 sets, so I'm assuming 1 set per firefighter?
Correct.
At some point, are you going to be asking for another, like, additional 5 sets next year in next year's budget? Or is it going to be over a course of like a couple years? We're going to buy this new?
Ideally, when we purchase a set of gear, it's custom fit for the firefighter. It's similar to a bulletproof vest. It's specific to that person. Now, granted, when we hire a new person, as other people have retired, we've kind of got a storage room, and it's like, we'll try to get what fits. Well, that's nice, but it's really ideal if folks actually have gear that was fit for them. Per the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, we're supposed to retire gear after 10 years, and with 25 firefighters, between some guys that we've got are very active, they won't get 10 years out of a set of gear. Other guys will get a set. So we're really looking at probably 4 to 5 sets kind of every year, just to kind of keep us in that rotation, either between wear or between retiring sets out.
Okay. Thank you.
Or change of personnel.
Correct, or change of personnel. So
You had mentioned the $200 offset from the previous spec and what you're bidding here.
correct.
How long ago had that spec been generated?
That was part of a Livingston County bid that we were able to jump on, and so that was literally this time last year, came before council, and we did a similar thing.
Okay.
But the main precedent with that is we had that gear manufacturer for several years. That was part of a Livingston bid package we were able to jump on. We tried with this one, and there wasn't a group big package that we were able to jump on with.
I was hoping Novi might have needed, a dozen new ones. That we could
Yeah,
jump into
and
that.
sometimes we're able to do that. It just, the timing on this didn't work out
Yeah.
for us being able to try to tag on to another department. So, but we do look at that, and we called references to both Novi and Troy, and they're both very happy with this gear, so.
Hey, Joe?
Yeah, with the rotation of what you're saying about every, maybe 4 or 5 every year, have you considered with this vendor trying to get a discount for the future with, at least discussed it, saying, hey, we're gonna have some rotation. Every year, we're gonna rotate getting these, and we want some sort of 5% discount or something like that.
That's what was discussed with them for all the vendors, because this was a pretty time-exhaustive process, so I wouldn't want to spend our staff's time every year to be going back and doing this. And so when all the vendors were consulted, I was looking to try to stay for somebody for at least 4 or 5 years. The other issue, too, is we get different sorts of gear, and we kind of look like the pickup softball team. So there's some desire on scenes for us to kind of have continuity and uniformity. So yeah, that was discussed with all the vendors. Again, whether or not they factor that into this price, it's a best guess, but that was discussed with the vendors that we were looking for a multi-year deal.
Me personally, I would like to see, since this is gonna be, we're purchasing 5, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so if you said 4 or 5 each year, 10,000 each year, that's quite significant. It would be nice to see, a 5% discount every year, something in writing from the supplier, manufacturer. But that's just me personally.
I move that we waive the formal bid process for the purchase of 5 sets of firefighting turnout gear.
Due to that particular vendor.
That's the next motion.
Well, I mean, you have the reason to, you need a reason why we're not having the bid process.
Okay. Is somebody still supporting that?
Yes.
Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll continue.
Yeah, you're supposed to actually, say why we're not having a bid process. I mean,
Because we
that's
waived
not
it.
the first time.
Because we waived it.
You're waiving it because only one person sells
Makes
the
it.
stuff,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I-
Ron, you got something else?
I move to approve the purchase of 5 sets of firefighting turnout gear from Apollo Fire Department Company for $9,930.
I'll support.
Okay, for discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Mayor and Council, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Good work on that, Mike.
Okay, I had a lady call me a couple weeks ago. She wanted to donate some money for a plaque for her dad, who was active around the community, just being a nice guy, Arlen Stone. And I said, we really don't have a plaque board or anything, but we could, he had a garden in the gardens in the graveyard and cemetery, and maybe you could donate to something like that. And she thought it was a great idea. And her name, just to have, she's the one that sent it, although it was sent from her company, is Leanne McCleary, MC, capital C-L-E-E-R-Y. And so I suggested, how about putting it towards the gardens? And she said, great. So she said, how you use it is up to me, she said. So I'm going to say to you, Bob, how about if we extend that one water line that didn't go all the way down the one side of the gardens there? And if there's any surplus money there, you can put that towards your needs and maintenance in that area.
Fine.
$100.
On a personal note, I missed Arlen in the gardens this year.
Yes. He was right
He was-
across from us, wasn't he?
Yep, I do miss him. So that would
Drive
be nice.
around town,
Yeah.
He was like a staple.
I know.
Did plenty of scouting for us, that's for sure. He had an eye on things. So I needed somebody to make a motion to accept this check.
I'll move that we accept the check from Mrs. McCleary in the amount of $100 in honor of Arlen Stone.
I'll second.
Okay, and further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Manager's report.
Manager's evaluation. Would you like to use the same form as last year?
Sure.
Yeah.
Since my hard drive died, I'll have to take an old one and have somebody retype it for me, but I'll get those to you in the next few days, and then perhaps we could even have it for the next meeting, if you like. It'll give you some time to fill them out and bring them back. We got an email, I think you saw it in your packet, from a Dave and Carrie Jones thanking the fire department. Guess they saved their lives. And then I wanted to have a Bob moment. So there's a thank you note, an email that Bob received from Gwen for the wonderful job they did with reseeding and watering her yard with the DWRF project. So,
I didn't know we were watering.
actually, we're not. It's the Brico, the company,
They're
but
watering their own.
They water for 14 days.
The DWRF project.
The
I didn't know they
Brico.
even did that.
Brico, yeah.
So
Yeah, they have to get it established and growing.
But when Gwen Stefani sent me that letter,
Stefan.
I picked her up in a big hurry.
Anyways, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hey, Bev, you have anything?
No.
Okay. Mike?
I'm going to be on vacation for our next meeting on June 24th, so I'd ask that hopefully my absence will be excused. And since Dave just mentioned the manager's evaluation, I would hope that we could do that the following meeting and not on June 24th, because I'd like to be there for that. And the last thing I want to say is on May 29th, we sent out 13 requests for proposals for this rec center. The deadline for the response is on June 17th, which is a week from today. So we're going to be reviewing those responses we get. We're going to narrow it down to, I don't know how many for an interview. And once we go through the interview process, we will be presenting our recommendations to the South Lyon Rec Authority Board. Hopefully, they're meeting the week of June 24th, which of course I'm going to be on vacation, so I think Mr. Fletcher will be presenting that to the board. And then at that point, we will hopefully have a architectural firm for the conceptual design of the rec center. So it's moving right along at a great pace. That's all I have.
Okay, Harvey,
I'm good, thank you.
Glenn?
I was wondering, Dave, were you able to talk to Ken about getting some kind of a firm timeline on when the trails would be recreated?
No, I haven't had a chance to speak with him yet.
Okay.
I will make a note to do that.
Yeah, if you could. It was brought up about the minutes. I came in and had asked Lisa about that, and I was a little bit surprised. Her response was that the attorneys had suggested that that be added to our minutes. And as I said, I think that that's something that we should have had some say in, as opposed to it simply being imposed on us. I mean, I've progressively been seeing the minutes get less and less descriptive about what takes place at our meetings. And with that being the official record of what our meeting was, I think that it's appropriate that it be as close a reflection of what took place, you know, to paraphrase as much as is possible of who said what. I think that's very important that that take place. This is the official record, and the idea that an opposing vote, although I don't have any opposition to that, save for the fact that it was something that we didn't decide. It was just put on us. I don't understand the value of it to begin with, and could you explain that?
I don't recall making that suggestion, so.
Okay.
I have talked with Lisa since she took over the position about minutes and drafting. I don't recall making a specific suggestion that any opposing vote be specified by name. I think I may have suggested just if it's not a unanimous to have a 5-2, 4-3, whatever the passage vote was, so that you know whether it was a
Right, how
6-1
close,
or
yeah.
4-3.
I don't know, maybe I misunderstood you.
So
I don't know.
there's nothing that would require that, an opposing vote be identified by councilperson's name, except with a roll call.
Roll call.
So,
Leave it as one opposed or two.
yeah, I would just do it as a count. It's not unusual to do that.
Oh, well, all right, I guess that,
And maybe I did. I don't recall making that specific suggestion.
okay. Well, I mean, even so, there's a number of things that had taken place in our last meeting, just quickly. You know, Harvey had alluded to the Arts Commission, you know, the package was essentially buying hardware that would be an asset of the city, which wasn't in the minutes, but Dave's saying that, that Maggie Kurzweil had involvement in the improvements over at Baker Park were reflected in the minutes. And, you know, one of them kind of was specific to a vote, and the other one was just sort of an aside. I mean, I don't have anything, well, I don't have anything against your comment, even though it was my turn to make comments. But I guess I just would like it to end up being as close a reflection of what happened as we can make it, without getting too overly verbose like I just have.
No, continue.
Okay, that's all I got.
All right, Aaron?
I just would like to remind Chief to start patrolling the gardens again, if you would.
Thank you. Absolutely. Also, we will, with the improving weather and school being out very soon, we will be increasing our efforts in McCaddy Park in particular, but also all of the city parks.
Okay.
And we will include the cemetery on that.
Thanks,
And
I appreciate that.
protect your vegetables.
Protect my vegetables and the people that are out there. I mean, it is kind of a remote area, so just safety is always good.
Absolutely.
Because some of those people that work out there in the sun, never know. Thanks, Ted.
You bet. Joe?
Yeah, just a request, and that's for the manager's report. If we could have that open session, that would be my preference. That's it.
The evaluation?
Evaluation,
Oh.
yeah. I'm sorry, did I say report?
It's not,
Not your choice.
No? I'm not,
It's
saying
his
it's not-
choice.
I didn't say it's my choice. I'm telling you.
Manager's choice.
Yeah.
Exactly. I realize that. I'm saying what my preference is, making a statement.
okay. I had a request for porta-john in the cemetery. And I was thinking, you know, there is a lot of people that go, they're in there lots of times and they meditate or whatever with their family members and stuff. And maybe there's something we should look at. We have them in all the parks. Is maybe have a porta-john somewhere centrally located.
Are you talking like a,
John Measle porta-john.
or like not, like the ones in the park are more like a building? Are you looking for more
just
like a
porta-
building or just
No,
a?
just the temporaries. There's temporaries in McCaddy. They're out at Volunteer Park.
And the temporary ones don't get vandalized?
Well, any porta-john could
Do
be
they
a
get
victim.
vandalized?
We've had pretty good luck. I mean,
Wasn't one vandalized this past winter?
Yeah, one was towed into the back of Hidden Creek subdivision.
Get out.
But
Who would
with
want to
that
move it?
said-
Who would
with
want to
that
move
said,
it?
We,
It's pretty fun.
got some really
we
heavy
keep a
gloves
very
on.
close eye on it along with patrol officers, and we have minimal.
Yeah, for how exposed they are, I mean, you know, you're gonna have some kind of incidents, so.
So are you thinking up towards the gardens so that people?
Well, that end, but it's still within range of the people who go to the graveyard, so.
There's a lot of people who visit the graves. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people in that cemetery.
I wouldn't want it at the
Every day.
entrance. You know, it has to be towards the middle or back somewhere so that,
Okay,
Those-
Bob, let's take a look at that tomorrow.
Yeah.
In in a shady spot.
well, my sunflowers be big pretty soon.
Yeah, your sunflowers will be haunting me in the garden pretty soon.
Haunting you, yes.
It's like children of the corn out there.
It does kind of inspire time management, though. I mean, we did not have to use that.
Yeah, no, but it's just,
But you know the area that has the,
excuse me, I'm on my comments.
no, it's still the same one, the little area that has the mausoleum that's
Yeah.
over by the corner, where you kind of put it for the Memorial Day parade.
No, I don't think further towards the center from there. really. Okay. Also, of course, Father's Day is coming. If you still have a father, certainly appreciate him. And certainly honor him at the graveyard if you have to. And with that, I would like to call for an adjournment.
I make the motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ends this meeting of June 10th, 2013. That was approximately 40 minutes
Yeah.
long.
So